And go.
Hey, social media, it's Jerry coming to you today from Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. What is Rythmia? Rythmia is a life advancement center that uses ayahuasca, farm-to-table organic food, breathwork, meditation, spiritual teachings, to bring about yoga too, I forgot, to bring about an amazing change, which happens in 1 week. And I mean amazing. How can I say amazing? There have been 18,000 people through our doors. About 64,000 individual unique ayahuasca experiences, right? More than any place in the world that we're aware of have experienced this. And what happens is upon checkout, they're given a survey. 98.85% of all the people that have been here and completed the program have reported a life-changing miracle during their stay. Yep, a real miracle during their stay. Better yet, at the 6-month mark, 90.22% say that this was the week that changed their life. Because of this type of success, we have an amazing board of directors who have all been here and experienced the program and are contributing their time for free. Who are they? Well, Ron White, the comedian, Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, Kelly Slater, the greatest surfer of all time, Michael Bernard Beckwith, the founder of the Agape Spiritual Center in Los Angeles. Martin Luther King's son, Martin, sits on our board. Jack Canfield, author of Chicken Soup of the Soul, sits on our board. Earl Koski, the businessman, and more. There are more people joining our board all the time. But they've all come here, had a life-changing experience, and have, it's been so impactful that they wanted to contribute and help. We get all kinds of people from all walks of life here. We get normal people like you and me. We get business leaders, billionaires, people in the music industry, performers, actors and actresses, tons of A-list athletes have been here and experienced this program, and it really works. What is the commonality at the end of this program? People leave here and they decide they want to be a beneficial presence on the planet. About 98% decide that they want to devote their life to celebrating and helping become a beneficial presence on the planet. Why? Because they talked to God and God talked back. And all of a sudden, all of their trials, tribulations, struggles look like nothing compared to the gift of being able to have life on this garden of a planet. And what they want to do is they want to come and help people. How do they do it? By being a better husband or father, by being a better mother or child or sister or cousin, by being a leader in their community, by starting a business that helps people, whether it's through the gift of food or transportation or whatever. It could be investment banking, can be investment services. There's all different ways that you can become a beneficial presence on this planet. All different ways, right? And basically anything you do that vibrates higher than how it's been done creates a beneficial presence by those that it touches. It could be by restaurants. My friend had a ton of restaurants in the United States called Papa John's that delivered a better quality product than other places. So I mean, there's all kinds of ways that you can become a beneficial presence. But In deciding to become a beneficial presence, that becomes your life. That becomes your ceremony. And it's going to be harder than anything you've ever imagined. It's going to take longer than anything you could conceive, but it's going to deliver more fruit than anything you could have done in any other way if you don't quit. So this is called Ceremony Secrets number 6. I had one of the in ceremonies. What ceremonies are is that when you consume ayahuasca, you go into a journey, and that journey is part of a ceremony. So these are things I experienced in journeys, and I've had about 351 journeys to date, because I was a terribly miserable case. I needed lots of help, and I still continue to need lots of help. And that's part of being in this journey, right? My way of becoming a beneficial presence was by starting this place that to date 18,000 people have been through and had a miraculous experience. One thing I learned in one of my ceremonies, it was a horribly hard ceremony, and it was really sad because in that ceremony, I watched everybody I loved die. Everybody I loved die. And then I died. And in what the lesson of that ceremony is, no matter how you wish to kid yourself, you're going to die, and you don't know when. And all of the people who you know and love are going to die, and you don't know when that is. So you're going to leave here with a ton of death. Death is going to be everywhere, and you're one of those deaths, and you don't know when that's going to happen. So what became apparent to me was the crystal clear vision of I got the importance of how I'm going to spend my time from this second on until the day that I die, because my goal was to die without regret, because I've seen so many people die with a tremendous amount of regret. And the only way that I can assure that that's not going to happen to me is if I have a lodestar that's becoming a beneficial presence on the planet, and I devote everything to it. Everything. Because either way, my life is going to end. I can do that by sitting on a couch and eating bonbons and watching TV, or being on the internet and complaining and commenting about people. Or I can spend my life really trying to do something. To be committed, to go through all of the pain, to go through all of the heartache, and to go through all of the hardness that it's going to take to get there. And I may never get there, but I'm going to spend my life trying. Because once you do this, your life becomes a mysterious adventure, that you're on this adventure, this quest, right? And this purpose. So it's a mystery, an adventure, and a true purpose of trying to get to this place and to help others in being this beneficial presence on the planet. And that is a life well spent. So you can't escape that you're going to die. You can't pick how you die. You can't pick when you die. But if you live with the knowledge of your death, then you're going to spend the time between now and then carefully. So what are some of the ways you could do it? Well, you could spend the time between now and then on the search for pleasure. You could be a pleasure seeker. Now, I've seen folks that tried to do that. And that is, as a group, in my opinion, one of the most unfulfilled groups of people on earth. And you can try to spend the time between now and then doing the easiest, most convenient thing for you. And that I've never seen work either. The only time that I've seen fulfillment is when somebody gives their complete self to something bigger than them. And they're very, very, very hard times. All of it's hard, but you get to pick what kind of hard you want. Even pleasure seeking is hard. If you've ever known a pleasure seeker, a real pleasure seeker, you can see how hard that existence is, right? So all of it's hard, but you get to pick your type of hard. That's the gift. That's real control. Real control is realizing that I get to pick what type of hard I want during this journey. That's control, right? Once you do that, the overriding governor is that you do not surrender to quitting. That is the story. And then that story keeps going and going, and it will shift and change, and you will have to constantly readjust without quitting. And there's all the gold. There's all the juice. There's all the silver linings. They're all in that mess that you're going to do, in that mess. And what a great thing to do. Now, if you see people who are constantly quitting, right, when it gets hard, they quit, they're usually people who picked their lodestar, picked their method of becoming a beneficial presence from the wrong side of the menu. What do I mean by that? Well, if you do it out of the need to impress someone, whether it's your mother, your uncle, the girl or boy who lives next door, a teacher, you're always going to quit when it gets hard because it's not a strong enough why. It's just not a strong enough why. It's not. The strong whys come from a very centered place in you. That the one overriding theme is that being on earth is a gift, is a real gift. It's a gift, and being aware of it. And then understanding that you're receiving that gift, and your way of repayment is to become a beneficial presence on the planet, so that your soul's journey in this iteration of you, in this lifetime of you, gets fulfilled. What does fulfillment look like? Does it look like bliss? Sometimes. Does it look like heartache? Sometimes. Does it look like hard work? Almost always. It's not all like rainbows and unicorns. It's not. It's just not. And if you're set up to expect that, you will honestly always be upset, right? One of the great things is that now there are many people that are out there selling books and systems on getting there the easy way. And the only person who that's easy for is the seller of the book or the system, because it doesn't exist in the real world. And if it does, it's not sustainable. It's just not. So there's all kinds of ways you can look at this. You can go to one-hit wonders in the music industry. There's all ways to see that maybe occasionally it occurs. Another interesting study is study of lottery winners. See what happens to them, and you'll understand this more and more and more. The great thing about living in 2025 is all of this data is out there for you to be able to look at the data and draw conclusions over what works. Now, you know, I was never wealthy, right? By today's standards, I made, I made $90 million, right? One time I took a company public and I had $140 million net worth. But the thing is, by today's standards, it's no money. Nothing, right? But if you take a look at the uber wealthy, the self-made uber wealthy, and I'm lucky enough to know some of those people. They're unique. And what they're unique in? They're unique in their ability to do things that are harder, and to not quit when others quit. That's it. It's not that they're the smartest. It's not, although a lot of them are smart. It's not that they're the best looking, because a lot of them are good looking, but they're not the best looking. It's their ability to stick to these things. And if you have that ability, if you picked from the right part of the menu and you have that ability, what is yours cannot be denied you. And it's going to be bigger and bear more fruit than you could ever imagine. It's going to be longer and harder than you would ever assume, but it's going to bear more fruit than you could ever imagine. And you're going to die anyway. How do you want to do that? With or without regret? And that's my question to you today. And if you're the kind of person, if you've ever, I hope you've had the experience of watching people die both ways. And I will tell you, I've seen people die with regret. And it left such a mark on me that I do not want to die that way. And I hope you don't either. And if you don't, then there's only one other way to go. I leave you with that this week. Please come here. My name's Gerard Powell. I have 2 little books out. Truthonomics, which is about manifestation, and Stuff the Moon Said, which is about the birth of rythmia and why it's here. And I invite you to come and join us and start this life. I guarantee you, if you're the 90.22%, coming here will change the rest of your life. Take a chance, come on down and see what this thing does. God bless you, God keep you, God hold you.